So, good evening, welcome. My name's Dan. This is Let's Talk Trek. We are the UK's #1 premier Star Trek web show on a Sunday. Billions, well, tens of thousands actually, but we're doing well. Let's go round the table and quickly say hello. It's all gone different to how it normally is, so I'm going to go that way. So next, Carl. Carl is from Trekkies Guide to Galaxy.
I feel Mr. Spelling may be difficulty hearing us.
Can you not hear our audio? Ian appears to have muted his microphone. I can't unmute him.
Dan, you might want to whack over to your Wi-Fi as well, mate.
Okay.
In the meantime,
Carl.
to my right, we have Carl, who's representing the Trekkies Guide to the Galaxy.
Good evening.
Okay. Then we have
James
representing the Rikers. But
we can hear you.
Hey, me.
Yes, below me that's got a wicked hairstyle. We can hear you. Can you hear us?
I can't hear you. The second you went live, your sound cut out.
Okay. Well, in the audience, could everyone, please, who's watching, please let us know if you can hear us.
Hello, can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay. So, Ian's been foolishly told that we are a professional Star Trek organisation.
Ian would have gauged that when he met us when we went swimming with him.
Absolutely.
So we can hear. Unfortunately, for some reason, Ian's having technical difficulties.
Dan, would you like to contact Ian and just ask him to?
You can hear me, right?
Yes, yeah.
Like I said, the second you guys went live, the sound went away.
I suggest you come back. You go out and come back in, or no, you can't hear us. So
you switch it off and on again.
Yeah. I'm going to disconnect and call back in.
Yep. You notice how we started to talk louder then? You know, like when you're trying to speak to someone in a different language. So you talk louder so they can understand.
Why don't you understand English? What's wrong with you?
Right, let's start again. Dan's back. So I'm Richard. I'm from Riker's Beard. This is Carl to my right. Below me, as always, is James. Below me, but a little to the left, is Dan. Dan, I'm hoping you're coming through loud and clear.
Hello.
Yes.
You're much better now. Lovely. Okay. I'll let Dan retake over.
And can somebody let Ian in?
We will when he gets here.
Yep. As soon as he gets here, we'll let him in.
Yes, Clem Fandango, can you press the button? Right. So
remarkable.
Yes. What a week.
I'm doing David Coleman.
So Ian's got to be joining us. Ian is a Star Trek author who has been busy squirreling at work, doing a book which Carl has got, because I gave it to him to have a look through. And Carl, if you can hold up Ian's book when he gets here. This is Ian's book, so we're going to be talking to him about this one.
I'm super excited about that.
Excellent. Thanks for the briefing, Dan. Thanks for warning us.
I hope you don't think I've read the entire thing yet. It has been the weekend, and I run a pub, so I'm about.
Hold the cover up again for us, please. That's a fine-looking book.
It's the first 4 pages have been gripping. Oh. I have enjoyed the first 4 pages so far.
Well, I mean, out of the 4 pages you've read, if that's an A+ review, then we can only expect it to go on in that vein.
Absolutely.
So I think I know the issue we're having without being able to connect. If you want to ping Ian a message privately, Dan, it's because he's having a problem with his audio devices. They're not connected right. That's what the stream's telling us. So
yes. Unfortunately, so Ian, if you don't know, is an author and the Star Trek Las Vegas host extraordinaire.
Work.
Oh, what? One at a time, gentlemen. There we go.
There he is. Hello.
But it's only working with my phone, not my laptop.
Gents, let's give Ian a round of applause for joining us tonight.
Welcome.
Ian is getting rave reviews from our watchers already, who describe him as author and Star Trek Las Vegas host extraordinaire. So
we have an extraordinaire on.
I love your meticulously trimmed goatee as well. It's fabulous.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Ian has been foolishly told that we are a professional Star Trek outfit, boys. So we can behave for the next 45 minutes and not ruin the illusion that we know what we're talking about. That would be brilliant. So let's keep.
Before we go any further, it's Dan's birthday. Everybody, happy birthday, Dan!
Happy birthday, Dan. Birthday to you.
Well, hang on a moment, because we've had a very special video sent. Yeah, so very special. The 3 tenors have come to us to sing Dan happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dan and Carl. Happy birthday to you. 5 talking goats.
Thank you very much.
How do I stop it?
Drinking.
Right, marvelous.
Right, so let's fill Ian in, because Ian's just jumped into this completely. He's come to do some product placement and talk and do the actual book thing, and we just thrown him into the middle of our ridiculous show. Ian, have you ever watched a UK show called Top Gear? It was a car show.
I've seen it once or twice. I'm no expert on it. Let's put it.
We are the Star Trek equivalent of that. Very dysfunctional, and occasionally we might just get to the bit we're meant to be plugging. So that's going to happen.
With less budget.
So let's introduce myself. I'm Dan. I'm from the Trekkies Guide to the Galaxy. At the side of me is Carl from the Trekkies Guide to the Galaxy.
Again.
It's all mirrored. That's Richard in the fandom. Yes, fantastic. There's James from the USS Riker's Beard. The video you've just seen is on James's set, which is the USS Riker's Beard set, which is currently set up for a small event happening soon, I believe.
Small.
Yeah.
Cool. And we do this web show on a Sunday. And when we do this web show, we have certain features. And our first feature is we decided that James is much more of an interesting person after he's had a drink inside him. So we're going to make sure he can do that. So let's do this.
Well, this evening's cocktail is inspired by the fact I understand today is 20 years to the day since Enterprise was first broadcast. Or at least somebody said that on the internet, and therefore it must be true. So this is the Denobulan Ginger Lime Pineapple Gin Cocktail. Ready for this? You're going to need our friend, the trusty cocktail shaker. You are going to need pineapple juice. You are going to need Ferengi lime juice. You are going to need, best and most importantly, gin. Not just any gin, the Anno gin.
James, can I just ask, when was the last time you made a cocktail without gin?
About a month ago, I think we had a vodka one.
Okay.
And I didn't like it, and we went back to gin.
That I thought it was the 80s, but okay.
Now wait, this from
water?
This book?
No, James creates them himself.
Internet, guy.
Yeah.
Hang on a
Because
second.
Ian's got the cocktail book.
I have a cocktail book in hand.
It's an awesome
I
book.
do have the cocktail book. I've left downstairs the most important ingredient. Hang on, I'll be right back. You guys fill for time.
I love how professional we're being tonight.
Well, while we're waiting for James, we'll just quickly, got another birthday message coming in here. Hang on a moment. It's coming in. It's from an alternate reality from August 2.
I understand today is your birthday. I don't care. I am evil. I am Amos. I am evil.
There we are. So that's happy birthday from Armus. Have we killed enough time yet? We're still waiting.
Did I just miss Armus?
He just missed Armus.
The voice from beyond.
Right, okay. The next ingredient is this. This is made with Denobulan ginger, okay? What you have to do is boil up water, sugar, and Denobulan ginger to make this heady cocktail. Right, I'm out of puff now. Okay, right, so here we go. This reminds me of the time Claire asked me to make her, what was it, a vanilla martini or something. And I looked at the ingredient and said, we have a problem. The first instruction says steep the vanilla pods in the vodka for 5 weeks. Anyway,
what's a vanilla pod?
Also,
we've
how much easier
created
will this
this
be when we have
earlier.
replicated?
This is one we've made earlier. So I'm going to need,
Okay.
bear with me,
We have
Jigger.
what's a couple of minutes.
Are you using your Hero Collector cocktail set, James?
I'm not.
You should.
I'm not, for the simple reason it's one of those cocktail shakers, Ian, that has 2 bits to it, and I just don't trust that it's not going to fly apart on me.
Just a recommendation. I would do this on.
But look, the set is here.
Yes.
Right, so our ginger syrup is in.
Is that
We need about the same of pineapple juice.
So is this how it's Star Trek related because of the pineapple, presumably?
No, it's the denobulan ginger. Right. The
Not to
Ferengi
mention the
lime juice.
Ferengi
Let's not
lime
forget
juice.
our old friend. Because it's moist.
Why? Yeah. Ferengi lime juice is better because it's moist.
Okay, and right, the gin. Where's my gin?
You're
gone?
going
Right,
to
we'll
need
have
a
a
drink
double of that.
after all this, James.
I love how
Sorry?
James pretends he's going to just measure the gin rather than just put a good glug in. Glug.
Oh, look. Oh,
Run
no.
out of gin.
Oh,
Right,
We
Anna,
all
if
knew
you're
this
watching,
day
it's
would
time for you to
come.
send me a new bottle.
we knew this day would come.
Right, here we go then. Shaky, shaky cocktail makey. Here we go.
You really should start getting your butler to do this for you, James.
Now top up with tonic. Whee. And last but not least, garnish with a wedge of lime. Let's see how we've done. Oh my. That's really rather nice. I think we'll have this one again.
Wonderful.
Wunderbar.
4
Right.
chainsaws out of 5.
Excellent. That's what we like. So, you may be more. Some of you may notice we've got Ian with us tonight. So you know who we are. But Ian, who are you? Tell us about yourself.
I'm a longtime Star Trek journalist. Covered covered Star Trek for Starlog and the New York Times Syndicate for 20-something years, and then I was the editor at StarTrek.com. I still write for Titan's Star Trek magazine, which is now called Explorer. And I wrote the new book that we're partly here to chat about, which is Star Trek: The Original Series, A Celebration.
Now, they've said you very nicely sent us a copy, and we all live on opposite sides of the country, so this book is currently doing the rounds between us. Carl is currently in possession of the book. I'm going to read through, so it's now making its way that way. It's like the ultimate book club sharing system.
So wait one second, guys. I'm on my phone. I see myself on my laptop now. Can you hear me on both? Am I on the laptop?
Now, the audio is still not working on the laptop, so it won't connect to us.
I wonder why, because it was before when we said hello. All right, I'm turning off the laptop.
Did you buy it from a Ferengi
Probably.
for a good price? Yeah, okay.
Anyway, all right, I've closed the laptop, so here we are.
Once you have your money, you're never getting it back.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, firstly, that's a lot of Star Trek knowledge you must have.
Yeah, can I already wind back to say to all the various publications? Did you say you wrote for Starlog?
Starlog, which
Yeah.
was kind of the sci-fi.
Back in the day, that was the only one. Back
Yeah.
in the day, yeah.
I wrote for them when I was in college back in 1985, I think. My first piece was Tawny Welsh, who was the alien who falls in love with Steve Guttenberg in Cocoon, and then I did James Remar. One of
We
my
know all about Steve Guttenberg on this show. It's honestly,
Oh,
we're
yes.
all huge fans.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Then Remar from Clan of the Cave Bear, and then the first Star Trek pieces that I sold were Gene Roddenberry and Majel Barrett, and that opened the door for me to become a Star Trek guy. I did it till they closed their doors in 2009, and I'm still friends with Donald. He's one of the dedications in the book, because I wouldn't be talking to you now if it wasn't Dave hiring me as like a kid in college to be one of his freelance writers.
That's absolutely outstanding. That's amazing. I mean, I every now and again on eBay, issues of Starlog come up, and like for like this little magazine, they go for massive prices. They really do. They're quite astonishing, especially anything that's got that Star Trek made the front cover of. It's just wow.
Yeah, and then Starlog also did the licensed magazines back in the day. They did the Next Gen magazine. They did the Deep Space Nine magazine. They did the Voyager, and then they did the movie official souvenir books. You know, the magazine, the various movies. I think they did 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I want to say they did Generations and First Contact. I don't know if they did anything after that. I maybe they must have, and I probably wrote for it if they did. Long time ago, my friends. Long time ago.
I feel like Ian's probably knows more about Star Trek than has forgotten more about Star Trek than most of us know, which is so the new book. And Ian's a lovely guy. Ian is one of these guys that emails me every so often. Hey, there's this new book. And there's so many great books that you get sent by Ian, which is great. The new book though is Carl. Hold it up for us because you got it in the thing. There we go. Star Trek. Read this out loud. We can't speak more.
Can we make Carl big, because that cover is absolutely beautiful. I really love. I love the cover of this book. This is fantastic.
Star Trek Celebration. This is with the guys from Hero Collector, who I always want to call Eagle Moss, but they're not Eagle Moss anymore, are you? It's now Hero.
They are. Hero Collector is the publishing division of Eagle Moss.
Yeah, always confuses me. And they do some lovely books. Let me just scroll back through here. So,
I love the front cover of that book.
so
And when I say it looks simple, I mean that as a compliment. It's simple and bold and striking. I just love it. It's just fantastic. It's really nice.
But can I tell you the thing that's really cool about it, and that we're particularly proud of, not just on the cover, but throughout the whole book, is it looks like that show was made now. The photos don't look like they're mid-1960s. And that was things that we wanted to shoot for in the book, was so much of the art, the photography that was taken at the time itself was just so clean and crisp. But over time, people have run copies and scans that it's kind of degraded the image quality. So we are working wherever possible with the cleanest image, in some cases the negatives, and obviously the system of copying photos, if all we have is a photo, is better now than it ever was. So what you're looking at is a contemporary book exploring something from the 1960s, and the art looks like it's from now, which we love.
And I will definitely vouch for that, because these images they're crystal clear. They're absolutely fantastic.
And the images were a huge part of the book. There are 200 photos in the book. I don't have a ratio for you, but I can tell you that dozens of them have either rarely ever been seen before or never been seen before. I was with George Takei and Brad, his husband, in Vegas a few weeks ago, and I asked George to autograph the book for me, which he did. And he and Brad are looking at it, and they're like, "We've never seen this photo. We've never seen this photo. How do we get that photo?" Because I think they want to have it to put out.
That must have been a wonderful feeling. That must have been absolutely fantastic.
Right.
Can we just, because our show is about our viewers, can we just quickly nip over to the comments, Dan? Keith's put a comment in there. I'd love you to whack up on the screen there, because it's a question I'd like to put to our very special guest. You know, when did your obsession start?
Mine started back when I was a teenager in New York. Star Trek aired in repeats. This is the late 70s. We
just went syndication then.
Syndication, Channel 11, New York, PIX, WPIX. It aired at 6 and 11 o'clock. And my mom would let me sometimes eat dinner in my room and watch the show. And that's when I really got into it. And then it wasn't just a pure obsession. I wanted to become a journalist when I was in college. And
I just quickly stop you there, because what you said, I think, is going to ring to everyone who said you were eating your dinner while you were watching it. Yeah. So this was. So who else remembers that? Saying, "Mum, can I please have my dinner on my lap so I can watch Star Trek?" I mean, come on, we've all been there, haven't we?
Right.
You know, that's it. Yeah. Can we please eat dinner in front of the TV to watch Star Trek? Because that is literally my earliest memory of Star Trek, is pleading, "Can I please eat dinner in front of the TV?"
my
Right.
family had a very strict "you must eat at the table" rule, and the only exception was for watching Star Trek. That was the only exception.
Sorry, Ian? We're losing your audio again, I think.
How about now? I haven't moved. I'm right here.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh, that's good.
Good.
Probably.
My question was, did your family watch the Star Trek episodes with you?
They did. It was one of those few things that actually most of my family, apart from my sister, was very much into. My sister, I think, we all lovingly embrace sci-fi. My sister had it forced down her throat, I think is probably the correct way to. But yeah.
But to go back to the question about the obsession, where it really became a thing in my life was when I was in college and I wanted to start doing interviews. The actors would go to conventions, and if it wasn't Shatner and Nimoy, the rest of the cast typically stayed at the hotel where the convention was. So I would call the hotel and say, "Is Mr. Takei there?" "Sure." And they put me through. "Hello." And I'd say, "George." College newspaper. The famous story is he said, "Do you jog? Do I run?" And I lied and said yes. So he said, "Meet me downstairs tomorrow in front of the hotel. We'll run in Central Park, come back, and we'll do the interview." And basically, that's what we did. I got Walter Koenig the same way. He was at a convention on Long Island, and we met at a diner. I had, I guess it was lunch or brunch with him and his daughter. And then Mark Leonard spoke to me at a convention, and Jimmy Doohan spoke to me at a convention, and Majel Barrett spoke to me at a convention. And then the cool one was Roddenberry said, "I can't talk to you now. Here's my business card. Call my assistant and tell her I said yes." And there's a long, giant story, but basically what ended up happening was somebody died, a director died, he had to go to the funeral. Roddenberry personally tracked me down, spoke to my roommate, and who left a yellow sticky for me that basically said, "Here's Roddenberry's home phone number. Call him tomorrow at this time." When I called Roddenberry, he said, "Let me call you back so you're not paying for the call," because this was 1985.
So you'd have been, what, 18, 19 years old?
At that point, when I started interviews, I was about 20 or 21. Yeah. And those were from a college newspaper. And the funny thing, just to bring it full circle, when I was out in Vegas last month, they had this new tech screen. So I said to the guys who were running the screen, "If I send you a photo, can you put it up on the screen while I'm moderating one of the panels?" And they said, "Sure." So while I was interviewing Walter Koenig, they put up on the screen my interview from my college newspaper with Walter Koenig. And I read out loud the first two paragraphs of it, which were all about my interaction with him and his daughter at that diner that I mentioned. So it was very cool because that's 35 years later, which boggles the mind, right?
It's a wonderful story, but for the benefit of our idiocracies, could you please tell us how to pronounce Walter Koenig's name properly for James's benefit?
Every time.
Because we interviewed Walter and James got it wrong, and basically he won't let us interview him again. He really took a dislike to James after that, didn't he, James? Real dislike.
Yes, I don't think we got off on the right foot.
And then don't forget, George Takei is Takei, not Takai, which I
We've not, have we interviewed George? I don't think we have.
No, we can't get near George. He's too heavily protected.
Really? I don't. Well, that's a gauntlet laid down. Then we'll get him next time.
We'll get him in November. I think he's in London, isn't he?
We'll get him then. Well, we're guests, aren't we? So hey.
Yeah.
Hey, Stephen McCarthy picks. Yes. Anyway, sorry, I'm just reading.
So I mean, there's so many questions. I'm sure that everyone's got for Ian. And if Ian's all right, are you all right if we ask you to bring some questions off the listeners and the watchers and us lot? Happy to answer.
Sure, whatever you want. Just let's do it.
Who, and this is going to be one of those Sophie's Choice questions. What's your most favorite interview you've done?
Star Trekker in general.
Ooh. It's not this one. Ignore Richard.
This one.
Star Trek is one of the things I've covered, and it's the thing I've covered the most over the years. But I've been an entertainment journalist since college. When I was doing this Star Trek thing for my college newspaper, I was also interviewing Molly Ringwald for Pretty in Pink and Michael Keaton for Gung Ho and what was the other big? Pretty in Pink, Gung Ho. Oh, Star Trek 4. I went out to LA for my college newspaper. And then that was Then This Is Now. We got Emilio Estevez in New York for that. And then, like I mentioned, Cocoon and Pritzi's Honor. So I would go with Jack Nicholson is high on the list.
Really higher than Steve Gutenberg.
Slightly. And you have to remember, Steve Gutenberg was huge because of the Police Academy movie.
Still is. Thank you very much. I'm his number one fan.
That has made me laugh a lot over the years. So
Steve Gutenberg has a restraining order out on Richard.
But the biggest week I ever had as a professional journalist was probably my wife isn't easily impressed with the people I've interviewed over the years. She's like, "It's your job. It's what you do." But I had Paul McCartney at his office.
Oh, wow.
When Beatles 1 came out. And then the same week, I did an hour-long telephone interview with Steven Spielberg for the 25th anniversary of Starlog /AI, artificial intelligence, for his movie. So he gave me an hour on the phone, and we went through every one of his films. So that was a cool week. Paul McCartney and an hour.
Just speaking to you at the moment, though, Ian, I can easily believe that because you're so easy to talk to. You know, because I like to get someone like Paul McCartney and Steven Spielberg to speak to you. You've got to have a certain type of chemistry with these people, and you've been in this chat with us now for 10 minutes or something already. I feel like I could speak to you all night. So, and I mean that not because I'm a psycho, because you're a lovely person. You know, it's.
But you do have
very obvious.
You have to have the credentials to get in the door. You know, McCartney didn't talk to me because I'm a nice guy.
He kept talking to you, presumably because you are. You know, that's the thing.
Right. I mean, you know, the key thing was, like, Spielberg had always said, "If you need me again," type of thing. I mean, I've spoken to him subsequently, but it's not like he gave me his phone number at home and said, "Call me." But I have that. We'll do that. Here's my email. Here's my telephone number. If you need any more, call me. And I've got that relationship with a lot of the people from Star Trek. You know, Leonard Nimoy is a good example. When I became the editor at StarTrek.com, Leonard said to me, "Ian, you have my email, you have my phone number. If you need me, you know where to find me. Don't abuse the privilege, and we'll get along just fine." and that was it. And whenever I needed something, "Leonard, can you confirm this? Can you explain that to me? Can you do an interview?" After, you know, he was in the second JJ movie as a big surprise to everybody. I called him and said, "Can we do the interview now that The Secret is out?" He said, "Absolutely." I was on my cell phone at my son's baseball game, and we did a quickie 10-minute interview about his appearance in the second film, in Into Darkness. So, you know, that's the type of thing where, yes, a good relationship does pay off. But sometimes to get your foot in the door to get these interviews, you have to have the right outlet to write for.
So let's have a quick talk, like we do on the normal show. Let's do some of the normal features. We're actually going to do some of the Star Trek news from this week. So this week has been...
Oh, hang on a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, no, we're getting another communication.
Oh, another message.
Another one.
We're getting another message. Hang on a minute.
The birthday show is full of communications.
It's from Viagra 5 again. Hang on. Wait.
I didn't wish you happy birthday on your 40th birthday. Well, I don't wish you happy birthday because I am honest and I am evil.
A 40th birthday. That must be for Carl then, because it's his birthday.
I think that was intended for Carl, yeah.
Me.
So again, that's the budget that we can run to for. The worst thing. No, wait. The best thing about that is,
Ian, yeah.
so the budget that we spent on the special, the budget we spent on the special effects were all on the bin bags that we bought from Poundland, and then when James turned up today, he forgot the bin bags, so he had to steal one from a random bin.
James, we just been speaking to Ian, who's been telling us he's been interviewing Spielberg, who, you know, has a better special effects budget than us, and then we're rocking around with a bin bag, which is amazing. Fantastic. Well done.
A stolen bin bag. That was not
just like Doctor Who budgets for sci-fi.
It was not even our bin bag, but we did put it back, didn't we, when we were finished with it?
Just to be clear, it was an empty bin bag. It hadn't been used.
Okay, moving on from the bin bag, let's get into some actual Star Trek news, boys. Okay, so this week, Carl was telling me that, and I find this absolutely ludicrous, William Shatner's going into space.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
Yes.
No.
He's going up on Blue Origin in
Never gonna
October.
happen. He's never going to pass the medical. He's not going to go. He's
Right.
90.
Carl,
Paying for it.
Carl.
Anything could happen.
talk to us. What's happening?
Well, I've got no inside scoops. It's all over for everyone to read. But basically, the headline I saw said about Shatner going into space. I read a little bit into it, and basically Bezos has given him a seat on the October launch of Blue Origin, and it's something to do with a Netflix documentary that Shatner's doing.
Right.
That's what I've got.
He's and I mean this with the greatest respect. He's too old. They will not send him into space.
He's James T. Kirk, and if he wants to go on one last mission, let him.
Absolutely.
Can
And
I
wouldn't it
point
be
out,
great?
Richard? You're
Wouldn't it be
forgetting one of the great
absolutely-
You're forgetting one of the great movies, which was Space Cowboys, which proved that you're never too old to go into space.
But this is real. This is not a movie.
Go on, Ian.
There is no question in my mind that Shatner is going to go, and there is no question in my mind that Shatner will outlive every one of us on this call.
Yep.
He is Star Trek cockroach. He will.
We're talking about William Shatner, not his ashes. Okay.
William Shatner is going to end up like one of the heads in Futurama, stuck inside a jar but still there. He'll be there next to Nixon's head.
He's going to go. Mark my words. He's going to go. And he.
I hope he does. And I hope.
By the way, it's
If they
quite
launch
clear
him
that
from
if Kirk goes into space on a rocket, he's not going to go on the Virgin one.
Where's the
He's
medical?
going to go on one that looks like a schlong.
But where's the medical going to be done? Where's he going to be launching from? Where does he have to pass the medical? Is it some obscure Ukrainian country or?
I mean, I'm not going to get into the bits of this, but I imagine because he's been invited by the owner of the rocket, and because it is not a regulated flight, it is essentially just a tourist flight. It's the same as essentially. It's just like Jeff giving him a lift in his car, except his car goes upwards, not down the road.
Not a NASA mission. I think he can go do whatever he wants for as long as he wants on this. So
if it was up to me, I'd let him go. But I think health and safety would intervene. I hope he does.
That's a fair point there from Christoph.
Okay, he's not like, if you've watched Better Late Than Never, okay, Shatner is a badass, but he ain't that fit. Okay.
I look forward to you eating your words when we say
doesn't matter. I don't think he has to pass a physical to go on this. Whoever said it, because you guys were all like postage stamp size on my phone. Whoever said it, literally like taking a ride in his car. That's basically what it boils down to.
Yep.
That's what. Hey, you want to take a ride? Shatner says yes. Off they go. That's it. No NASA, no government regulations. If he wants to go, he can go. I'm sure he has to sign a lot of paperwork that if something goes south, nobody's.
Well, speaking strictly from a legal perspective, what happens in space stays in space.
There you go.
James is
if it seriously happens in space, it ain't coming back, is it? So
James professionally, he's one of those blood-sucking lawyers, unfortunately. So,
well, I'm a nice one.
James is the nicest lawyer that I'm friends with.
Right, so let's have a look at some more of our features. On a weekly basis, we talk about a collectible that we've got to talk about. So let's have a quick look at our collectible, and we'll run the
collectibles. Yes, let's do this.
Run the thing for that. Carl?
Me. Well, dear viewer, this week on Collectibles Corner. Now, last week I showed you a couple of the pop vinyls that I received for my birthday, which you will see over my shoulder here on the shelf.
I like where you've put them.
Yes, nicely in view. Well, I've now received another pop vinyl, which was a birthday present. So, this week's collectible is Captain Kirk on his chair.
Nice.
I like the chair.
It's
Do you reckon on the Amazon rocket he'll be given a chair just like that one?
I hope so. And I hope as he goes up, he's doing his own rendition of either Ground Control to Major Tom or Rocket Man.
It's got to be Rocket Man. It's got to be Rocket Man.
Yeah.
Shatner's Rocket Man is legendary.
Pay to see it. But yeah, this absolutely
That's lovely.
brilliant.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Carl. I don't like the Funko Pops, but I like that one.
He's great.
That's really nice. I like that one.
So
That's
this
really good.
You guys want a collectible? Do you see behind me? Can you see my pinball machine?
Yes.
That's
Oh, yeah.
Gorgon, the first talking pinball machine from 1979.
Wow.
That's my pride and joy.
Oh.
That's
the first ever talking one.
Yes, it was the first talking pinball machine. It basically says
Right.
"all got you" and 7 words that can be jumbled up into whatever combinations. You.
Can you just check something for us? If you look closely at Gorgar, is there anything on there that says Skynet?
No.
Okay. Just checking.
Good.
So, as we've got a Star Trek expert on, I'm going to show my collectible and see if he can readily identify it. This is a one-of-a-kind, unique... Don't do that, Dan. This is real. This is a real collectible. Right. So this is my pride and joy.
Royalty in and you're... Oh, God.
It's my pride and joy.
Very cool. You think I can make that out from here?
That is, of course, the gold-plated edition Malon Freighter. The Eagle Moss never made that I had to make myself.
Right. Enough of your foolishness. Right, let's talk more with the author about his book, which is why he's here. We managed to persuade this man that he can come to talk to us about his real book. So let's do some of that. I feel bad.
Sure.
Actually, I want to see a bit more of it. Yeah.
Dan,
So,
do you have images from the book we can show?
tell you what, if you guys talk, I'll bring the images up that I've already got saved.
Yeah, all right.
Of those.
Well, while we're waiting, should we do a bit of fake news?
Oh.
Well, actually, we don't have any fake news. What do we have? Oh, we have a game we can play.
Oh,
we do.
Is it time for a game?
Should we play a game? Are we not ready for a game yet, Dan?
Why don't you do the promo for the event?
Oh, okay, right. Well, let's run
the event. All right.
Let's run the news that's not fake news that we use the fake news for. So this is the news that's not fake news. That
Real news.
This is real news. There's a Star Trek event.
Actual news.
That's being held, and well, I'll run the videotape, and that will speak for itself.
Roll VT.
Ah, there you are. Welcome to Starbase Atlantis. Come with me. Go on through here to the bar area. So this space here serves both as our bar and as our transporter room. We may have that lit. We'll see how we can do in October. Aldebaran and whiskey, please, barman. Ah, refreshing. I needed that. Now, come with me. This is our principal venue, so come on in. As you will see, we have this nice big space here away from anyone else. Lots of seating and tables and so forth down here, plenty of room for everyone. But if there isn't space down here for everyone who turns up, we do have another room upstairs that you can fit probably 50, 60 people in. And if that is still not enough, there's a bar that you can fit perhaps another 200 people in. But they don't want to see any of that, because what you're here for is this. And this is, of course, the Rikers Beard Bridge. Some of you may have seen it at conventions or out and about or just online, but this is going to be here for the whole weekend, and you can come and have your photo taken on it, play around. No charges whatsoever, it's on us, we just want you to enjoy it. So, what's going to be happening? Well, firstly, when is it? The 23rd of October. Get back to your duty station, Lieutenant. 23rd of October, it's a Saturday. We'll be here most of the day, but certainly all evening. Keep your eye on our page for further details. We're hoping to have things like a quiz. We're hoping to have perhaps a costume competition if enough people turn up wearing costumes. And please, please do, because it makes it much more fun. Obviously, we just want to have a few drinks and share a meal with people. There's food and drink available all day. It's plenty of that available. Our friend Gary O'Brien, who is the producer and director of fan film the Holy Core, in which part of our set did feature. He's going to do a screening of his film for us. It's about half an hour in total. And he'll be doing a Q&A on that as well, which he's a really interesting guy. It's well worth coming if for that alone. So please do come. 23rd of October, the Oak Hotel, Ramsgate. We'll see you here. Make it so.
So there we are.
I didn't remember the British Enterprise having tables and chairs in front of the main set, but hey ho.
Because it's not the Enterprise, Dan. The Riker's Beard is a very different kind of ship.
Exactly. Right, let's do this then. So let me share this. If we press this and square this. Oh, this is all very technical. And let's have a look. You should be able to now see. Oh.
Ah, right.
There it is. There we go. So
Hey, steady.
Steady indeed. So like we said, this was the cover of the book. It is a lovely book. Available at all good book retailers, or where should we actually be buying it from, Ian? Any preference?
It's on sale at Amazon. It's on sale at Hero Collector. Those are two easy places. And then, as you said, any booksellers should have it as well.
Fantastic. So let's have a look inside. You've got some fantastic articles. And like you say, some of these pictures are just so crisp and yeah.
What's the background of that picture of William Shatner there, Ian?
I can't even see it. It's too small for me right now.
That looks like a really 1960s sort of submarine set, like sort of Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
It looks like it's from an episode, actually. I will find that out for you. It's a very good question. Nobody's asked.
That's interesting.
It almost looks like a power station.
It looks like those the old computers with the reels that went backwards and forwards.
Yeah, it looks like an old computer room, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one of the photos that George saw and said, I've never seen that photo before. So that's very cool.
Unfortunately, my computer has managed to compress the image, so I do apologize if you're watching it.
Well, this is a fascinating thing that Ian was saying about the amount of photos that have been copied and shared and reshared, and then the images just degrade. And I'm assuming they've gotten the quality of the images back by using AI upscaling, which is what I've used it myself, what everyone's using at the moment, and it really is bringing back these old photos back to life like you wouldn't believe. They're just fantastic.
There's some of that, and then some of it is, early iterations of the photos. We were dealing with, you guys know who James Cawley is? He's got the that visit up in Ticonderoga. He has a massive private collection, and we got a lot of the photos from Jim for us to include in the book. And Ben, my co-writer, and I did a Zoom call with James and his son Patrick, and the four of us literally went through. Never saw that one. That's a variation of a shot we've seen. Wow, where'd you get this one? And so we literally were picking through. We were like kids in a candy store finding great photos to include in the book. That was a lot of fun, that part of the process.
I mean, it's interesting, especially as a sci-fi fan, you'll probably be aware of this, that Star Trek, a lot of the early stuff is still around, but a lot of the stuff over here where we may be interested in, like British sci-fi, Doctor Who, a lot of Doctor Who has just vanished,
Right. Well, a lot of stuff pulled out of garbage cans. The 6-foot Enterprise, a number of tribbles. There were stories in the book about one of the guys saw them throwing stuff into a dumpster, and he went and fetched it out of the dumpster and held on to it for decades. There's a story in there about the gentleman. He actually just passed away about a week or 10 days ago now. Reuben Klamer, who created the phaser rifle that was used in Where No Man Has Gone Before. That helped sell NBC on picking the show up to series, because they could call it an action show instead of just high concept sci-fi. And so that worked beautifully, because I tracked him down. We got an interview with him in March, and like I said, he passed away about a week ago. And he had that rifle for 40 something years. He sold it for just under $250,000 a couple of years ago, which is insane when you think about it. But that's probably the most a prop has gone for from the original series.
When I look at a picture, I mean, you won't be able to see it because you're on your phone, but I look at a picture at the moment of Spock having his makeup applied by a guy wearing a tie.
Yes.
And that really goes to show you just how advanced, like how far ahead of its time. So you've got, first of all, an actor who's willing to put the ears on and have the makeup done, like in a time where this is not, this is going to, for intents and purposes, this is going to kill his career. So he must have really believed in what he was doing to sit down, put the ears on, and have the makeup done, and the rest of them as well. It wasn't accepted. And the people who were doing the makeup, the people who were putting the ears on, the guy's wearing a tie. This is a conservative period of time where this is not a normal thing. That all of them are pioneers, every single one of them. The actors, the makeup artists, the writers, Gene Roddenberry. It was a massive gamble for all of them. It's incredibly brave. I think that's underrated, possibly a little.
I totally agree with you. If Nimoy was deeply involved in the creation of Spock, more than most of the other actors probably were in the creations of their characters, probably including Shatner himself. In some cases, there were things where they just needed to come up with ideas and say, well, how did this evolve? Well, things like the makeup were out of necessity. Some of them were simply ideas. Romulans evolved because they didn't want to spend more money on ears. So that's why they're wearing the things on the heads in some cases. There are fascinating practical and some creative, story-wise, in terms of how and why things were created and who created them. It was Dorothy Fontana who was deeply involved in creating Spock as a character and evolving him. So all sorts of stuff like that is in the book. And it ties into what you're saying with the makeup and how advanced everybody was in trying to do this. All of that went into making the show. And that's kind of what we tried to capture in the book as well. Ben, my co-writer, likes to say it's a convention in a book. And I kind of agree with him. There are books about a lot of elements of Star Trek, but this tried to touch on everything. So there's the music, there's the opening credit sequence, there's the narration, there's the visual effects. One of my favorite sections is the makeup in there. You literally see all of what you just showed, for example. And then on the costume pages, you will see sketches by Bill Tice and then the finished product. Sketch, finished product, sketch, finished product. And that's really cool, too. And some of them were done with, like, bathroom floor mats, some of the costumes. You'll see a photo in there if you look at it. Guys wearing, like, an orange shoulder pads. That's like a bath mat.
I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? It's quite... We're almost spoiled in this day and age in science fiction that anything that you can want can be made on a green screen or can be edited in. Or these guys that did the pioneering work 50, 60 years ago did all this hard work when it hadn't been done before. And now, they had to figure out how you make a plant move, how you make scales, how you make a rock that can be... All that hadn't been done. And, as much as you look back at sometimes that TOS and at points you can think, oh, this is a little bit silly. And then you think, actually, you know what? This is still groundbreaking for what it was. Absolutely.
When you compare it to what was around at the time, I think you really appreciate. And it's not just the makeup. Don't get me wrong, I've got utmost respect for it. But the performances you had out of the actors for doing what... I mean, these guys were proper board treaders, that were throwing their all into these silly stories about aliens and things. Utmost respect for them. They defined our generation. It's fantastic.
The other thing that was really worth pointing out to you guys is the costumes for the monsters on the show were unbelievable. The salt vampire is an unbelievable, scary costume. The Mother Horda is an incredible costume that guy created and literally showed them and said, they went, oh, we got to use this. And that was part of the creation of Devil in the Dark, was because they had the idea for the costume and they went and kind of wrote the story around it, which was kind of cool. And that guy did other makeup costumes, monsters in Star Trek as well. It's all there, for folks to read. I don't want to spoil it for everybody. And a lot of people know what else Jonas Praha did. But he was an unbelievable stuntman, makeup, costume guy. And he made them all himself, which is really cool.
So as regards Star Trek, and a question for yourself, with you having obviously interviewed some of the original people and Gene and people like that, and seen Star Trek evolution, are you more of a fan of the Monster of the Week, which it was, and obviously which they're saying Strange New Worlds is going to become? It's going to become very episodic, and that's what we're going. Or do you like the serialized storylines which go across several seasons?
I kind of like both, and I kind of like that we're in a stage now with Star Trek where we can have both. Which is kind of interesting. Not the shows don't have to be the same style. The problem with shows that are serialized is if you miss one, you're kind of lost in the storyline. So the beauty of an episodic show is that you can miss one or two or three, catch up with them, and then you're still back in the realm of what's happening. It's not as big a deal. But the middle ground was kind of what Enterprise did, frankly, where they had, in some cases, 3, 4, 5 episode story arcs. And that made a lot of sense to me as well. If you talk about Deep Space Nine, where they spent a whole season on a war, it's interesting stuff. The short answer is I like both. And I like that, like I said, that we're at the stage in the franchise where you're going to have 4 or 5 shows. And literally, to make them separate from each other, they're going to go at them in different ways, which is the way it should be. It makes it more entertaining for everybody so that it's not 5 versions of the same show.
And on a scale between 10 and 10, how excited are you for Strange New Worlds?
Oh, I'm stoked. I think Anson Mount's going to be great. I love the cast. I think Ethan Peck is great. Yeah, I think they've got some really interesting young people who are joining the show as well. You've got Rebecca Romaine, who I think I enjoyed what she did on Discovery and in the short, and I think she's going to be interesting on the show. But it's all about Mount, man. How perfect is he? Right? He looks like Jeffrey Hunter. He's great. He's got that magnetism on screen.
He's a lovely human being. I met him when we were in Birmingham, and he couldn't have been nicer.
Right?
He was a real gentleman,
and he's got a cool podcast into him.
And I think it comes across sometimes whether someone's genuinely enthusiastic for a role or it's just a job, and that doesn't make any difference to what they deliver at all on screen, I don't think. But it does matter what they deliver to the fans, and what Anson Mount delivered to the fans in Birmingham was someone who was really enthusiastic, very similar to Jason Isaacs, really enthusiastic to what they were doing. I couldn't speak highly enough of the man. He's a really nice chap.
And when they were in Vegas, it was fascinating. I had to do a panel with both of them, and I think you guys know Jason Isaacs. He doesn't need a moderator. So
No.
I said to him, look, when he came first, we did Mount, and then Isaacs came out. And I said to them on stage, look, Jason, I know you're used to not having a moderator. So I'm going to throw a couple of questions and I'm going to step back and shut up. And if there's a lull in the conversation, I'll jump in. Yeah. Isaac's energy is unbelievable. I hope he comes back in some way, shape, or form.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
He's the only thing about Discovery that we like. So
That's not true.
That is definitely.
So I say we, I say me and James. Okay.
Let's have a look. So Linda says that, let's have a quick look. She says that Hell on Wheels is a must-watch series for any Anson Mount, for any fan of Anson Mount, co-starring Cole Meany.
Yes, she's correct. It's a great show.
So there's one for us to. Do we have that over here yet? Have we?
I've not come under my radar, so probably not.
It's over. It finished its run. I think it ran 4 seasons in the States.
So you guys got Young Rock last year,
right?
We're just getting it now.
Okay. Well, then you're way behind on Hell on Wheels because it literally finished, I think, a 4 or 5 year run a year or 2 ago. So
we might get it maybe next year.
Christoph says that Ian and Ben's TOS Celebration book is even available from Amazon Germany and it's in stock there. He's just ordered it and looking forward to reading it next week.
That's just good. Yeah.
Great. Hey, and anybody who reads the book, if you like it, give a good review on Amazon. Any plug is good. You want that rating up so that gets other people to read it, right?
Absolutely.
Right. A shameless plug. Yes. But real fast on the book, one of the key things that we wanted to do was tell stories that haven't been told 1,000 times before. So you won't see the story in there, for example, about the guys hiding the bike. That's not in there. The famous bagel story with D. Kelly isn't really in there. We kind of wanted to just go through some stuff that would be fresh to people, because the whole concept was to make it for the hardcore fan and try to give them some new material that they may not have heard, or to separate the fact from the myth for those folks. And then for the newcomers who maybe are discovering Star Trek through Discovery, hey, this is where it all started. So it's kind of toggling that line, walking that line of doing both, old fan and new fan, to give them information that would be fresh and original, or digs deeper into what they may already know, if that makes sense.
Fantastic. Well, guys, we have just reached our point where we're at an hour, and we normally call it a day at about an hour. And I mean, Ian has been absolutely fascinating to talk to. So the go-away this week is, if you haven't yet got his book, please go and buy it. It's on Amazon. It's on Hero Collector.
We haven't played our game yet.
Okay.
He sounds sad about that. Can we play the game?
If you're free to stay on there, we can play the game.
We'll play the game.
Let's play the game.
Are you going to play the intro?
Oh, is there an intro?
Shall I do it?
Oh God, it's this game. Yeah, okay.
So basically, dear viewer, if you haven't watched or played the game with us before,
Oh dear.
what? Oh dear, this is a good. This is best bit of the show. So if you're watching the audience or you're a panel member, you can play along. It's very simple. I don't know why people get confused about this show. So all you have to do is, I'm going to play a clip, and then you have to guess whether the person in the clip will get. No, look, you can't just guess straight away.
Right?
There's no skill involved. If you guess straight away, all you have to do is guess whether the person in the clip is going to get their answer right or wrong. That's it. That's all there is to it. Okay. So I'm going to play the clip, and you'll get a certain amount of time to submit your answer. And we're going now.
Groot, which is best, Star Trek or Star Wars?
So I don't know why people find this confusing at all. So let's go through and see who got it right. So you went for right, and the answer was neither right nor wrong, so you're wrong. Linda went for right, so she's wrong. Al went for right, so she's wrong. Stephen went for wrong, so he's wrong. Paul went for wrong, so he's wrong. Gary went for wrong, so he's wrong.
Joe, I'm still failing to understand why this feature has not been picked up by any of the major conventions yet.
No, I have no idea.
It's so simple.
No,
Hey, look, we did blankety blank, and that came back.
Yeah.
No, you were all wrong. No one went for right and wrong. I think that was quite obvious.
So, what is your next convention or event, Ian?
That's a good question. I don't know right now. I just did Las Vegas event, the 55-year show for Creation. I'm hoping whatever's next for Creation. Right now, my guess would be next year for Creation. I have done Destination Star Trek in the past, but I'm not sure that will happen because of international travel and all of that. It's probably safer for all involved that I not do that this time, unfortunately, since I'm in the States. So I'm around. I'd love to do more conventions. I may end up doing the official one in Chicago.
Mission Chicago, yeah.
Right, and that might be more as a guest with the book than anything else. I have no idea if they'll ask me to moderate. That's so far down.
A bit of an inside thing then. Do you think not many people will come over for Destination Star Trek London?
I bet they want to. I just don't know if they can. And I think it's going to be a choice of whether they feel safe or not. That's all. I mean, it's just a question of where we're at with the Delta variant here in the States at the time, and where you guys are at in terms of letting people in from around the world. Your guess is as good as mine. I hope it goes gangbusters. The times I've been out there, it was fabulous. I had an absolute blast and a gazillion people. So I hope I hope there's a repeat of that for them.
And I think because obviously Ian is involved in the event scene, and because we are semi-involved in the destination event, we don't want to sort of give an opinion either way and sway anything. What we will say is the world is a very much changing place. It's very much changed in the last 18 months, but it's going to get better, boys and girls. And
I just really hope Ian's coming, and it would be nice to see you face to face and buy your drinks, sir.
Tell them to send me, or you guys bring me out. You know where to find me.
We'll buy you several beers. How does that sound?
There you go. That sounds good.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for our special guest today, Ian. Boys and girls, give a round of applause.
Thank you, Ian.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. And we're going to stop the stream now. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. We're going to catch you next week.
Yeah, look after yourselves and each other.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe,
Don't have
everybody.
nightmares.